Uh, so in the last class, we were discussing about approach to a child with the complaint of not eating, or can say the complaint of loss of appetite. So that we were discussing in the last class. So today we will have the continued portion of the same, and yes. Now, snacking heavily the junk food, that is one of the major cause. If you see nowadays, one of the major cause for not taking the food properly or loss of appetite itself is snacking heavily. Usually the children are taking very heavy snacks or heavy junk food, and that itself is a major cause to lose the interest on the routine homemade food. Okay, so in such cases we have to go for detailed dietetic history and its analysis, and 24 hours dietetic history has to be taken, starting from the morning hours till the late night, or till night. What are all the different food items, liquid items, solid items, snacks, and heavy junk foods, or some of the salty food, salted foods. So such history has to be taken, and then we have to calculate how much baby is taking, what is the quality of the food that baby is taking, what is the quantity of the food that is taking, and what are all, whether that particular food is fulfilling the balanced food or complete food, etc. So all this, and again the calorie wise calculation has to be done. And it is also obviously seen that most of the children who take snacking heavily and also junk food, they're also like to be obese. Okay, so obesity is also most of the time associated with this type of food habits. So this is one of the important cause why children are not eating. Another one is sedentary lifestyle. So this is a major cause. Nowadays what happens, especially in the urban area, though children don't have the free area for the outdoor play. Outdoor play is completely neglected, and children are restricted inside the room, and as a result the total physical activity is very less, and that is also one of the major cause for loss of appetite. Okay, whatever they are eating, so that is not well utilized, and as a result they do not have the appetite. This is a major obvious cause. Once the children spend some time on outdoor activity or some indoor activity or some of the physical exercise, naturally child will have a good appetite, and he will feel hungry and he will have a good appetite. So sedentary lifestyle and the lack of sports activity, outdoor sports activity, that is one of the another major cause why the children are not eating nowadays. Especially not eating means homemade food. And there is one more interesting fact which is now seen, that is impact of online education. Now since the COVID times, we are contained to undergo the online education. There is no other way out, and as a result we are all habituated for online education. And usually it is seen that while children are attending the online classes, side by side they used to take the snacks, and some of the eatables will be always there beside them, and along with the online class, attending the online class, they're also busy in eating also. So that is one of the major causes nowadays it is detected. Couch potato effect or pillow effect, that is in potato. These are the two important things, how the online education and sedentary lifestyle, so that change the lifestyle, and how it also changes the body shape. One is just like a pillow, another one is just like a potato. Okay, so children are not blooming like a potato, or they are growing like the pillow. Okay, so if you see the potato, in the potato there is no head and neck, it is just a round vegetable, isn't it? So you cannot differentiate between the head, neck and body, etc. in the potato. Okay, so similarly now, because of this online education, lack of activity, and over junk food and sedentary food habits, food lifestyle and habits, so what is happening is children are growing, or enlarging rather, the enlarging or blooming like just like a potato. So because there is lot of deposition of the fat around the neck area and head area and the back area, so that head and neck and the rest of the body parts are not differentiated. It looks equal. Okay, and that is called as potato effect. Okay, couch potato effect. And similarly, pillow effect. Pillow effect means just like a pillow, they are getting deposited with the fat from all the sides. Okay, just like a pillow. So these are the two important words we usually use in the clinical practice: couch potato effect and pillow-like effect. This is to say that there is excess accumulation of the fat and other body substances in the body leading to obesity, which is majorly because of a lack of sports activity or excess junk food and snacking, etc., and also sedentary lifestyle. Anyway, single child. Now suppose single child is there, so here also now this is a problem, because when the single child is there, there is no other child to compare, or child cannot learn so many things by looking at its elder brother or younger brother or sister or younger sister. Okay, when the single child is there, he is totally dependent on the mother, and most of the time even the mother do not know what are the subtle differences between the first child and second child. So in the single child, so they go on keeping the two possibilities are there in the single child. Either the mother is go on giving the food, okay, and mother is not have any clear-cut idea that how much food actually the child will take, because it's a single child. If there is other kids in the family, so what happens, she would have got some experience of previously child rearing, but problem is now single child is there, nobody is there to give some advice. So she thinks that although child is taking good amount of the food, the mother thinks that child is having loss of appetite, therefore he is not taking. So these possibilities are there. Now depression is one more major cause, okay, for the loss of appetite. Child is having anxiety, child is having frustration, and child is having some fear, phobias, etc., or child is not liking the home environment or school environment. So all these psychological factors, etc., they may also lead to the loss of appetite. Now another is overprotected child. This is commonly seen when the single mother is there, or in the urban areas, or over-educated mother or over anxious mother. So she will now show the over consciousness about, she is over possessive about her, she is more possessive about her kid, and for her it looks that child is not at all taking anything. And most of the time they also compare their kids with the neighbors' kids. That's the problem. So they always compare. They actually, the mother is not having problem with the food intake of her baby, but her problem is the neighbor's baby is taking more food than this baby, therefore she brought the baby to the doctor. Okay, so this is a problem. So this also most of the time we will see. And I hope in the last class also we have discussed this important part, that is anemia. So anemia is actually one of the major cause of loss of appetite, which we usually neglect. Okay, whenever a child comes to you with the loss of appetite, or mother says, do not always just rule out it, or do not think that it is a proxy syndrome like situation, or she is over focusing. It's not like that. Sometimes at least you have to look into the anemia. Anemia has to be seen, because a adolescent girl coming to you with the loss of appetite, okay, or maybe a school going boy coming to you with the loss of appetite, anemia is most likely a common cause. Okay, so anemia may be because of the lack of the dietary micronutrients, there may be anemia. Now even the excess intake of the cow's milk. Now see, this is one of the major thing that we have to observe. Excess intake of the cow's milk, more than 500 ml per day, okay, may be one of the cause of a loss of appetite. Okay, because of overconsumption of the cow's milk, also it is seen that. Similarly, barefoot walking. Now barefoot walking, child is not walking without child is walking without chappals in the outdoor. So barefoot walking may lead to your hookworm infestation, and hookworm infestation, we know that hookworm infestation is known for causing anemia. Okay, because it sucks the blood, so therefore anemia may be there, and child may be having loss of appetite. Then excess intake of cow's milk, more than 500 ml, what I told is because of excess intake of the cow's milk, there may be some that means there is some hindrance in the absorption of the iron, and that may lead to calcium, excess calcium sulfates are formed, or calcium salts are formed, that hinders with the absorption of the iron to some extent, and therefore it may lead to anemia. Anyway, pica eating, yes, we know that, but Bhakshanajanya Pandu. So that's one of the major causes of anemia and leading to loss of appetite. Now, intake of a diet which is rich in the phytates. Another, because these phytates, whenever the phytates are there in the food, phytates, like we are taking the beans or oats, etc. These phytates are actually, so these phytates will interfere with the again absorption of the iron. The phytates will interfere with the absorption of the iron. Therefore, it may lead to anemia. Now, suppose the child is suffering from chronic disorders, maybe celiac disease, maybe some other allergic problems or some of the GAT problems, cystic fibrosis, or whatever chronic disorders child is suffering. And again, there also anemia is the most commonly seen. And anemia, whenever it is seen, it is one of the most common cause for even loss of appetite. You may, therefore, this should not be missed. This should not be missed. And there is certain non-nutritional causes of anemias are also there. This iron deficiency anemia is a nutritional cause, and there is also so many non-nutritional causes for anemia also. So these are some of the important things that we have to understand. Now we move on to the next part. So picky eater or gagging. So this is one more important thing. If the child is a picky eater, that means frequently he want to eat something. Okay, he cannot keep quiet. He want to eat something always. He's called as picky eater. Okay, every half an hour he is eating, but he is eating in very less amount. That means he is not completing his meal at a time. Okay, we have to give it in intervals. Either mother has to give in intervals or a child will take in intervals. Okay, so at once he will not take the full stomach meal, and that's its problem. Okay, so he refused to certain type of foodstuffs. Picky eater means one is frequently eating, another one is very reluctant to some of the food materials. Okay, so भिंडी नहीं खाऊंगा, मैं बैंगन नहीं खाऊंगा, मैं राइस नहीं खाऊंगा, और मैं ओट्स नहीं खाऊंगा, मैं यही खाऊंगा. So इस टाइप का जो बिहेवियर है, and that is called as picky eater. Okay, so picky eater means either he is taking very frequently different types of the foods, or he is very much restricted to some types of the food. ठीक है, मैं क्या है कि मिल्क प्रोडक्ट्स मुझे नहीं है, बटर नहीं होता है मुझे, ठीक है, भिंडी नहीं होता है, तो इस टाइप का फूड. सो नाउ ही वांट द सेम फूड्स अगेन. तो उसको हमेशा भिंडी का है, भिंडी की सब्जी बना दी तो वो खाएगा, ठीक है, बैंगन का सब्जी नहीं खाएगा, लौकी का सब्जी नहीं खाएगा, ठीक है, हमेशा भिंडी ही बनाना पड़ेगा उसके लिए. सो इस टाइप का जो बिहेवियर है बच्चों में, सो इस टाइप के बच्चों को हम यूजुअली बोलते हैं पिकी ईटर्स. ओके, नाउ दे वांट द सेम टाइप ऑफ फूड अगेन, ठीक है, डेली एक ही बनाओ, ठीक है. नाउ therefore such kids will have some problems related to the sensory perception issues. ठीक है, see, some of the children do not like certain vegetables, some of the vegetables, because the smell is not good, or the shape is not good, or the taste is not good, or texture is not good. ठीक है, तो भिंडी है तो भिंडी का जो है वो टेक्सचर सही नहीं है उसका, ठीक है, पोटैटो है तो पोटैटो का शेप नहीं सही नहीं है, ठीक है, एक का तो टेस्ट अच्छा नहीं है, ठीक है, खड़वा है टेस्ट. सो लाइक दिस डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ सेंसरी इश्यूज विल बी देयर, एंड दैट मेक द चाइल्ड पिकी ईटर. ठीक है, नाउ डिफिकल्टी इन चीविंग, समटाइम चिल्ड्रन विल ऑल्सो हैव डिफिकल्टी इन चीविंग, and that may also lead to loss of appetite. Okay, so because some of the neuromuscular problems, suppose some of the neuromuscular problems are there, okay, like in cerebral palsy or some other disorders, myopathies, etc. So there may be difficulty in chewing. Difficulty in chewing may be also there because of the problems, pathologies related to the tongue, or pathology related to the palate, pathology related to the dentition, etc., and dental structures, etc. Okay, so sometimes forced feeding, sometimes mother is feeding the baby very forcefully, and that may also lead to the picky eater. That means the बच्चा जो है उसको avoid कर सकता है, और child may also have the loss of appetite. So these are some of the things that we have to ask whenever mother comes to you with the complaints of loss of appetite. So now we will move on to the next portion, that is role of sensory influence on feeding. Now research says that the factors which influence the food intake are not only the taste, the factors which affects the food intake is not only taste but so many things, because as I told earlier, texture. Okay, texture is affecting the food intake in 69% cases. वो टच करने में कैसा है, वो हार्ड है, सॉफ्ट है, या उसमें कोई टॉन्स है या चुभने वाला है. So this makes the difference. Another one is appearance. Appearance about in 58% of the kids. Okay, it matters. According to this research, 58% of the kids, they look into the appearance of the particular food material. Then taste, 45%. See, fourth is taste जो है, taste is not considered as the top one. Okay, it's only 45%. But other things are very important. Therefore, the preparation of the food and presentation of the food in front of the child is बहुत important है. प्लेट में डाल के आप जो फूड मटेरियल आप बनाते हो, उसको किस तरीके से आप सजा के डेकोरेशन करके आप लाते हो, वो भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, स्पेशली इन इन्फेंट्स एंड टोडलर्स. ओके, टेस्ट एंड देन स्मेल. So for the smell, you have to add some of the smelly substances, fragrant substances, etc., so that you can hide the original smell of the food material. Then temperature, cold and hot, 22%. Okay, smell 36%. So sensory seeking may contribute to overeating, craving, or making unhealthy choices. Now, those kids who have more dependence on the sensory issues, ठीक है, उसको अपियरेंस भी बहुत अपियरेंस ही इंपॉर्टेंट है, उसको टेस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, उसको टेस्ट ही इंपॉर्टेंट है, उसका क्वालिटी इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, ठीक है, उसको टेक्सचर ही इंपॉर्टेंट है और बाकी टेस्ट वगैरह उसको इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. तो इस टाइप के जब बच्चे होते हैं तो व्हाट हैपन्स एट द एंड, दे विल रिजल्ट इन selecting an unhealthy food choices. ठीक है, so it result in unhealthy food choices, and this is one of the major cause for loss of appetite. So many other comorbidities related to the same. Now in the next class we will look into the clinical approach in a condition where my child is not eating. So basics we have seen so far. Now onwards we will look into the clinical approach, that we will see in the next part.